Hey, I hope all of y'all are doing very, very well. I just wanted to let y'all know that y'all are amazing. You're doing amazing things. You're standing up for your rights, starting to understand case law. You're starting to understand statutory and administrative law, and you're also understanding constitutional guarantees. That is not rights given to you, they are rights that are secured. Hey, y'all, it's Cameron Wilson. Of course, this is Power Inherent in the People, and I'm just so happy and blessed that you are here learning with me. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to take something. Listen, so this is kind of how it works with me. As you can tell, I got a lot of footage. I have a lot of content. You're probably thinking, why have you never provided this content to people before? And I never wanted to put out content without going through a situation first because I don't want nobody to make mistakes. So over the years, and we're talking a long time now, and you'll see from this police recording that I have, and I just kind of want to give some context to the situation. So being new in Oregon, okay, I moved from Texas to Oregon to grow cannabis, to be able to partake in cannabis because I had lost my leg. I didn't want to take pharmaceuticals. They were not for me. It didn't work for me. I mean, it did, but it didn't. It would make me uncomfortable, made me a different person. I just didn't like it. It didn't work for me. So Texas is not legal. I'm not going to stress myself on trying to take care of my health, to subside my pain and to be in happiness. And so I moved to Oregon. And so the first couple of years in Oregon, I built a cannabis business and did very successful. Um, had an investment of $250,000. I'm just going to leave it at that. But in the process, as the years had gone by, I think I was maybe in my third year in Oregon. We had moved from a little bit like Central Oregon up towards like the Portland area, and I had grown I'm growing cannabis in my garage. It's legal. I can do it. And apparently someone smelt it. And when they smelt it, they made a report, apparently. Okay. And what ended up happening is Department of Homeland Security, with Tigard Police Department, showed up to our house without a warrant, demanding that they come in, and that if they didn't come in, there were going to be problems with CPS and all that kind of stuff, right? So, under duress, not knowing my rights at this time, excuse the noise, under duress, we went ahead and let them come in the house. Of course, they requested to go out to the garage, but there's only one way to get out into the garage, and I told them, nope, not happening. And when they saw that our house was a habitable home, great for our children, they left without no problem. So because I was very spooked about this and I had not learned much, I had not stood on my rights, I went up and had an initial conversation with Tigard Police in Oregon. And this conversation is the first conversation that started off me figuring out all of my rights and standing on them. And this is the first recording I think I ever have with police moving forward into standing on my rights. And so I just wanted to give you, I'm giving y'all this content over these years now. So I'm just giving you my first interaction on how this started and where it all began. I love you all. We'll talk soon. Hey, y'all, make sure to go ahead and sign that petition for the traffic law reform that's in the description. If you have not, if you're new here, we have a series that we are doing right now. It's a playlist. It's called The Most Secured Liberties, Your Right to Locomotion. We're going into great detail. It's really good stuff. And then also, of course, if you want to pick up my book, you can get a physical copy. You can get an audiobook. It's totally up to you, y'all. But the physical book would make a great holiday gift. Enough being said, I love you. Let's get on to how it all began.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. What can I do for you?
I'd like to see if I can get information on this case.
You want a copy of it?
If I can, please.
Okay, let me go check and see.
Thanks.
Sir?
Yes.
Okay, so the report hasn't been written yet.
What is this case concerning?
If you want to talk to the officer, you can actually pick up the phone on the wall there. It'll go to dispatch. Let them know you're here, and they can have him contact you if you want to ask.
So we
questions.
just spoke with him, but what I'm trying to figure out is what is the case?
I don't know. It's not written, so I don't know.
So there's a case number, but nothing's wrote?
Right. Because it just happened.
It just happened.
Yeah, I mean, that's a new case number from today.
Okay, so what I was told by... do y'all have a supervisor available?
Same process. Get on the phone
Okay.
and let them know you want to talk to the supervisor.
And someone here will speak
Yeah.
with me? Okay, thank you. Case here. This case, yes. My name is Cameron Wilson. 360-952-2484. Correct. Thank you, sir.
Hi, Mr. Wilson.
Yes, sir.
Hey, do you want to talk to the lobby or do you want to come in here?
It don't matter.
Okay, so do you have any weapons or anything on you?
No.
Okay, I just wanted to know any weapons. You can come back here.
Okay.
I'll just let you know you're going to be audio video recorded while you're back here.
That's fine.
And then I have my little personal recorder going too. I have to record all my little conversations when people come in to talk to me about this kind of stuff.
Cool.
So Sergeant Odom with Tiger Police. It is 5:15 on the 30th of November. I'm in the interview room with Mr. Wilson, and he wanted to talk to me about a case that we responded to earlier today. All right, I'm Cameron Odom.
Your name's Cameron?
It is, yeah.
I'm Cameron too.
Yeah, it's a great name, right? So I'm the shift sergeant for today. I'm very familiar with the case that Officer Tillotson went out there. I actually assigned it to him this morning. So
Okay.
I hear you had some questions or concerns.
No, yeah, we're just kind of wanting to figure out how this all came about in the first place. It was just very confusing to us because last week I was pulled over for a traffic violation, and then this week y'all are showing up, and so we're just concerned on what's going on.
Okay.
On what's going on as far as the report being filed, and pretty much what's the process from here.
What did the officers tell you there at the
They told me that DHS had said something about cannabis, and that was very odd to us, just due to the fact that I grow a small amount of plants. We don't have a strong odor throughout the house. I'm an amputee, so I regularly smoke, of course, to keep away from pharmaceuticals. But we keep all that away from the children as well.
Great.
So we have 4 kids, and 3 boys, 1 girl. And so yeah, it was just a little bit. We're concerned, right?
Any concerns with how the officers handled this situation?
No, they were polite.
Okay,
they were
cool.
good people.
It's hard for me to know in the way my dispatch records these.
The only thing I've had an issue with, which I was debating on reporting, but didn't want to have a confrontation, right? Because us as citizens, knowing that y'all are public servants, sometimes there's always an issue. If you complain, then it's like you get attacked more.
Oh, yeah. That's not the case here.
And we just don't want to have those issues, but we don't. I'll just lay it out there real quick to you is I got pulled over. Didn't even know someone was behind me pulling me over. I had the rearview mirror pointing at my daughter. We were singing. Pulled into my drive. As soon as I got out the car, there's an officer behind me. Asked for supervisors, of course, up front, just so I could clarify, what I know as far as law and the Constitution. And a backup officer, none, showed up. I had my daughter in my hand, and I asked if I could place my daughter inside. It was cold outside, 55 degrees. And I was like, is it okay if I put my daughter in the house? Started to walk towards the door, and he grabbed my arm and twisted it with my daughter in my hand.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why there would be any kind of physical interaction between us over a traffic violation.
Okay.
And that was a little bit disheartening. I'm just going to mention it to you.
And
I don't want to file a report.
All that about with the supervisor that showed up that day?
Actually, I didn't even mention it that day. I didn't want to cause any conflict. They were already threatening to tow my vehicle and everything.
I don't know anything about that particular case.
Yeah.
I can tell you from my own knowledge of procedure as to what potentially could be the reasoning behind something like that. I'd be strictly guessing if you want to hear my take on only what you've told me.
Yeah.
So if somebody if we were pulling someone over and from our perception they were not stopping, so it's failed to yield, and we believe that maybe they're trying to get away. And one of the common things people that are trying to get away will do is they'll drive to a place they're familiar with. A lot of times it's a house, maybe where they have a backup, so they'll have family members or something that can help them out. And they'll take us on a trip to a place, which we'll call for more officers to come help us. Once we do stop, and if someone gets out of the car, we're not going to allow you at that point for safety reasons to go inside of a residence.
Yeah,
go
that's what they
where
were
there
saying.
could be a weapon or anything. And
Right.
we will use physical force to stop you from doing that, and we're permitted to do so under our law.
Understandable. At the same time, he could have just said, "Can you please just talk to us for a minute?"
And without watching the video to see exactly what was said and done, because all that would be recorded.
Cool. It is?
Oh yeah, we have dash cams
Awesome.
on all of our cars.
Okay. Well, body cams as well,
We don't. All of us have body cams yet. There's a few officers that have body cams. We haven't gone to it. to
but
find
audio
why.
recording would be
If they have a transmitter activated, they turn those on when time permits.
okay. Okay.
It's not automatic.
Okay.
But
That's
it
fine.
is automatically on video.
Okay. Cool.
We're pretty low key, very high tech as far as technology. We want to make sure we're doing what's right for our citizens. We take these things very seriously. To alleviate your concerns about this particular case that you're here for today, I did get this from DHS today. So the way this process works is, are you from Oregon?
No, from
Okay.
Texas.
It's from Texas. Okay, so I'm on my 18th year now. When I first got
Here?
hired, yeah,
Awesome.
back in the early
Congratulations
2000s,
as well. Yeah.
So it's been quite a while. There was a case in Oregon City involving a couple of young girls. Miranda Gladys was one of them. It actually made national headlines. And DHS was involved in the welfare of these kids, and they made a lot of missteps, and things weren't handled correctly. And the long and short of it was the one girl who lived in this house and her best friend ended up missing, and they finally found them buried underneath a slab of concrete in this neighbor's house. The investigation that came about after all that, they found that there were some very large missteps on how DHS, the Department of Human Services, Child Welfare, and law enforcement could have worked better together to have potentially saved these girls' lives.
Right.
As a result of those after actions and the investigations that all these administrators did to try to figure out what could we do better, we devised a system where we do what's called a law enforcement cross report. So under Oregon law, when Department of Human Services receives any report of a child abuse, neglect, or threat of harm or potential concern from any source, anonymous included, they will write up their concern, they will look at what they have and decide if they want to go do something, and then they will immediately cross-report that information to law enforcement via fax for a law enforcement officer to look at the exact same information and decide if they want to do something.
Right.
If at the same time, if police learns of the exact same information, anything that involves any type of potential abuse or neglect situation involving a child, we have to write everything we have, send it to child welfare, and they have to double check our work. So we double check each other
Cool.
to make sure nothing falls through the ground.
Right.
DHS has had some significant staffing cuts and funding issues lately. So we're seeing a lot of their cases are being closed, their intake, unless they have very specific identified information. And the workload for the infield stuff has kind of shifted to law enforcement. They don't have the caseworkers to go do in-person contacts as often as they want. So they ask us to be their eyes in the field to go do very, very quick assessments and see if there's anything that they actually should be more concerned about.
Well, how was the report filed in the first
So,
place?
I can't let you read the report because it's
That's
considered
fine.
confidential.
That's fine.
What I can say was that I'm going to read what I can here, so I might skip a little bit, but this comes in as an anonymous complaint. Caller reports to have smelled a strong odor of marijuana coming from the home on 2 separate occasions. Each occasion was in the late morning. Caller reports that 2 children live in the home but does not know if the children were home when the marijuana was smelled. At least one child is described as school-aged. Call
That's Tina.
screener was able to identify the family living in the home. All children are school-aged but one. Caller has no information as to who was using marijuana or if the children were even present.
Yeah, that's me, man.
So,
I smoke cannabis, my man.
Yep. So put yourself in my shoes. That's what I get.
Probably
to
on the
make-
back porch smoking.
That's what I get to make an enforcement decision on. So
Yeah.
I read this and I think, okay, what do I got to work with here? Well, smoking marijuana is legal in Oregon. Now, this is a new thing for the state of Oregon, and not everybody was on board. So
Right.
we actually get a lot of complaints about this, especially in apartment complexes,
Okay.
wanting us to do stuff we can't do anything about. What I do know is there's still a concern about marijuana use around children.
Right.
And that does have some legal implications.
Of
that
course.
we have to make sure. So DHS says, this is closed at screening. We're not going to go send an investigator there from their point of view because there's just not enough detail.
They should have, though. That would have been even better.
I would have liked it to.
I would have, too.
But unfortunately, this is what I'm telling you about. They
Yeah.
have to make sure they're going to go to the ones where there's a legitimate report of like I had one last week where a dad's beating a kid with a belt.
Oh, my God.
And so that's one that it's a 24-hour response.
That should have been done long time
They
ago.
call with us. We actually go together. Everybody goes and we take the kids into protective custody, all that kind of stuff. So the way we handle these types of situations is, as a shift supervisor, I make a judgment call based on my training and experience. And I am very much err on the side of asking an officer to go to the location, talk with the parent, explain the concern that we were given based on the information we got, make sure you understand the law, and make sure there's no blatant violation. I don't, because I can see here, there's at least one kid that's not school age. So there's a
Yeah,
potential
that's our
that
daughter.
one young child was home when this order was over.
That's my daughter.
All they should typically do is they would knock on the door, they would explain, hey, I got a DHS report, I've been sent here to go check on this.
No, yeah, they were polite. They were
drugs.
cool.
I just want to make sure your kids are well cared for, and they would work with you on that, and whatever their observations are, they would write that down in a report. They'll send it to DHS saying, I went and checked your cross report and agree, no action to be done. We're good with this, we're closing it, and off we go.
Yeah, they came in, did a quick little walk through, but they were polite guys. They were good guys.
Yeah, and so this has come to us as a complete anonymous. Like, I have no caller information. I couldn't even tell you if I wanted to.
It's okay. Apparently, I need to smoke in a more enclosed area.
Yeah.
So,
I don't see anything else there. I'm scanning it here to try to find anything else I can tell you. Leah is your girlfriend?
Fiance.
Yeah. They don't make these easy to read. I don't see any mention of the call that you're talking about.
the call?
You said where we were there before.
Oh, that was just due to traffic violation. So I was just pulled over at home.
So that I wouldn't believe, yeah, so there's no reference to that would associate that call to this and that, like we were trained.
Yeah, we just didn't understand. We were
That's
completely
literally
flabbergasted.
One of those coincidental.
Someone's walking by with their dog and smelled cannabis, and
Yeah, my bet.
it's crazy because we're seen throughout the neighborhood pretty hard. You know, we're a big family.
Yeah.
There's 6 of us. We got 4 kids, and we're always out riding the bikes. We're always hitting the trails, so we're pretty active in the neighborhood. You know,
Okay.
our kids play with all the kids around the neighborhood, so they see us. You know, they know that we're there, and maybe they were concerned. Maybe it's just an older couple or a group, and they're a little bit concerned, which is fine. I understand. And it has to be someone close, which is understandable. So maybe I should just make contact to let them know that everything's safe. And
The one thing I would ask you to do is not like try to seek out who called in.
okay,
That will generate more calls.
right.
I've seen it before when people get upset that they've had us come and do these type of checks.
Well, it's not that we're upset.
No, I'm saying where people do get upset.
Right.
Not you. I'm just saying
Right.
people have gotten upset. They've tried to figure out who called, and that in and of itself will get DHS to come in.
Okay.
They actually look at as that's a concerning behavior that DHS will use to kind of justify that maybe there's more going on than what's on the
This
face
guy's
of it.
angry. Yeah.
It's just one of those things that when you're talking about the safety of the kids, the state grants DHS a lot of authority.
Understandable.
I appreciate being cooperative with the officers.
No, man, I appreciate them being nice and polite. I appreciate your time for talking
Yeah,
with me.
absolutely. Anytime you ever have any concerns at all, feel free to talk to any one of us. You can always call, and we'll call you.
Well, I requested to speak with a supervisor over the phone, and they just wouldn't. They said they were unable to transfer me. She was super busy on the phone.
So we don't staff our station, and we're all in the field.
Oh, okay.
And we didn't get some. We asked for more money through a levy to pay for some additional funding to be able to keep our department staffed, and we didn't receive that.
Okay.
So we had to cut our staff pretty significantly. So right now we're doing everything we can to just handle the emergency calls that are out there and these types of mandatory calls that we have to do. So if you call in and say, hey, I just want to call from a supervisor, it may be an hour or two, but I will call you.
Okay.
There's 6 patrol sergeants. We each have a shift. And so we will, at some point in times, we have to prioritize what we're doing.
Of course.
We will call.
Of course.
So don't feel like you have to come. You actually have a higher likelihood of sitting here longer in the station than if you get me. Because if you're here, I have to come here and
Right.
talk to you.
Right.
But if you're at home, I can call you from in the field.
Okay.
So if you ever want to chat, by all means, feel free.
I do want to ask one quick question.
Sure.
You have taken an oath to uphold the Constitution, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. And I appreciate that. Are you aware of the 14th Amendment, which gives us the right to travel as citizens?
I'm not going to debate constitutional law with you.
Okay. Just asking that
I'll be
question.
straightforward with you. This is not the first time I've dealt with these types of situations.
Right.
I'm going to be straightforward. It's not part of what I'm here to talk to you about.
Okay.
You're getting into politics and stuff, and that's just not something I'm going to debate with you.
Well, I was just asking.
I get it. You're totally just asking the question, and I appreciate what you're trying to do, but I'm just not going to engage you on that topic.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay?
All right.
All right. We'll shake on it.
Thanks, Cameron. I
Good.
appreciate your help,
Yeah,
my friend.
good luck.
All right, thank you, sir. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.